Aloha Management 310, my name is Braven Kuniyoshi, and this is my book review presentation on The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. A little bit about the author. Patrick Lencioni is the founder and president of the Table Group, which is a management consulting firm. He and his group have worked with thousands of executives in organizing from the Fortune 500 companies to high-tech setups and to universities. And he also wrote other books that relate to management, such as The Advantage and The Ideal Team Player. Now that I discussed a little bit about the author, I'd like to make a short summary about the book. It takes place in Decision Tech Inc. in San Francisco, California, and they assign a new CEO, Catherine Peterson. Catherine Peterson is a former military, former 7th grade teacher, and has enrolled in a 3-year business program and is experienced in manufacturing. According to the executives at Decision Tech, she has no high-tech experience. When Catherine was hired as CEO, she observed her team's behavior in production, how they are they, what's wrong, what are the problems, and then after about a few weeks or months of observation, she assigned an offsite meeting with the executives in Napa Valley. From there, she then explained the 5 dysfunctions of a team, which was illustrated in a model, which I'll show you in the next slide. Catherine then pointed out the problems amongst the executives and how to change it. After discussing problems from left and right, Catherine wanted to implement some changes, but apparently a few of the executives weren't ready for the change, which resulted in 2 of them quitting. But Catherine and the group had to move on. She implemented the changes and then she evaluated the change and its progress. Now that I summarized the book, I'd like to explain the 5 dysfunctions. I'll go with each and every one from bottom to top, starting from the bottom. The bottom is absence of trust, and going up to fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and attention to results. Absence of trust. Absence of trust is also known as invulnerability according to the book. It means that you're not open amongst your team members and there's no trust amongst one another, meaning it's impossible for a team foundation to form or to form a team structure. To overcome this, trust doesn't come overnight. It comes in time and with experience. With an absence of trust, it comes to fear of conflict. Fear of conflict is that team members avoid engaging in debates and discuss ideas, meaning they resort to veiled discussions and guarded comments, which will often result in boring meetings. To overcome this, team members must know that conflict is productive, and a healthy conflict makes easier decision making. If there is a fear of conflict, then there is lack of commitment. Without a healthy conflict, there comes lack of commitment. And if a team member has lack of commitment, there is no passion or no open opinions to debates, and team members are not willing to commit to make decisions. When I read this part of the book, I interpret it as a psychological dysfunction. And to overcome it is that everyone makes mistakes and they all must learn it. And to improve yourself, and to move forward without hesitation and not looking back. With a lack of commitment, it comes an avoidance of accountability, which means low standards. It results from failure to committing to a clear plan of action. And if there are team members that have different standards, whether it's high or low, that often leads to mediocrity. And when it comes to setting standards, even poor employees or poor performers can still improve. And it can even help identify potential performance problems within the group. And as said again, it makes the company set high standards. And with low standards, it will come to inattention to results. Inattention to results is, according to the book, is the worst dysfunction of the 5, as it relates to status and ego. This is when an individual puts their personal needs above the collective goals of the team, which eventually the team can stagnate and fail, and the team can easily get distracted away from the business goal as a whole. If the status and ego were to be set aside and to humble the employees, then they would be more achievement oriented, meaning that they can strive towards the business goal and minimizes individualistic behavior. Sorry, big word. And once they're achievement oriented, then they can enjoy success and suffer failure not as bad. Would I recommend this book? Definitely yes, because this relates to anyone with a job, whether you're a manager or a leader or just an employee. This book can help improve managers and leaders, and it illustrates how to work as a team and not as individuals. In the past, I have worked in a restaurant that one of my coworkers had such a big ego. It was to a point that it was a communication barrier between everyone else in the kitchen. And that's why, as I said in the 5th dysfunction, it could be a really hard barrier to go through if their ego is that high. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you fill out that peer review by Mr. Sakuda. Your feedback is much appreciated. Mahalo.